Good afternoon, dear learners. I welcome you to the Senior Secondary Course Data Entry Operations. Today we are going to talk about spreadsheets. So what is a spreadsheet? Firstly, we'll talk about that, we'll understand that what is basically a spreadsheet. Spreadsheet is one of the very useful application software for handling numerical data and short text strings. अब जो स्प्रेडशीट होता है वो किस लिए यूज होता है? बेसिकली एक सॉफ्टवेयर है जो कि नंबर्स को और छोटे टेक्स्ट स्ट्रिंग्स को हैंडल करने के लिए काफी यूजफुल होता है. अब जो डेटा है दैट इज अरेंज्ड इन अ ग्रिड ऑफ रोज एंड कॉलम्स व्हिच कैन बी मैनिपुलेटेड, एनालाइज्ड एंड displayed in various formats including tables and charts. So this basically helps us to make more informed decisions. We are able to track the changes in data, write formulas to perform calculations on that data, and even build models for analyzing that data. Now you must be wondering about what are various spreadsheet softwares. So the softwares for spreadsheet which are available in the market are Lotus 123, MS Excel and OpenOffice CALC. You know that spreadsheet is a very useful application, especially in offices where numerical data has to be stored, manipulated and analyzed at regular intervals. Each page of a spreadsheet is known as a worksheet and a collection of worksheets constitutes a workbook. अब एक स्प्रेडशीट के अंदर काफ़ी सारी वर्कशीट्स होती हैं और पर्टिकुलर एक वर्कशीट्स को मिला के जो कलेक्शन होता है वर्कशीट्स का उसको हम बोलते हैं वर्कबुक. अब कुछ कॉमन एप्लीकेशंस वर्कशीट्स की हम डिस्कस करेंगे, जैसे कि जो वर्कशीट्स होती हैं दे एक्ट लाइक अ कैलकुलेटर फॉर डूइंग ऑटोमेटिक कैलकुलेशंस. दे आर यूज्ड टू कैलकुलेट, एनालाइज, स्टोर एंड प्रेजेंट द इंफॉर्मेशन. In a spreadsheet, if one value is changed, all the corresponding calculations will be recalculated. So these are very useful in what-if analysis. Spreadsheets are very useful to manage the financial data like stock exchange movements, account transactions, etc. The data in a spreadsheet can be pictorially represented through charts. Now, various inbuilt functions help in easy processing and manipulation of data. Now, how do we start OpenOffice CALC? So, to start with OpenOffice CALC, you have to follow the steps. First, select Start, then go to All Programs, and then select OpenOffice, whatever version is available on your computer. Select OpenOffice CALC option. The CALC application window will be displayed as you can also see on the screen. Now, we are going to discuss about the components of the CALC application window. So, first component is title bar. It is located on the top of the application window. It displays the name of the workbook and the name of the application. The window controls button, minimize, maximize, restore and close are present on the extreme right of the title bar. Now, the menu bar. So, below the title bar is the menu bar which contains various menu items: file, edit, view, insert, format, tools, data, window and help. These are the options on the menu bar. The menu bar gives access to the basic commands used in CALC. Next component is the standard toolbar. Below the menu bar is the standard toolbar which contains buttons for frequently used commands such as new, open, save, print, cut, copy, paste, etc. This toolbar is also known as function toolbar. Then after the standard toolbar is the formatting toolbar. This toolbar consists of commands that help in formatting text and number data like font style, size, color, bold, italic, underline and various other number formats, etc. Then the next comes the formula toolbar. This is a very important toolbar in spreadsheets. This toolbar contains the name box and the formula bar. The name box displays the name of the selected cell or the range of cells. For example, the name of an active cell can be A2 as you could see on the screen in the previous slide. The next is formula bar. It contains the content of the selected cell or the formula applied on the selected cell. It is also used for editing the cell contents or the formula in the active cell. So these are the components of the formula toolbar. Now let us talk about rows and columns. The entire worksheet is divided into horizontal rows and vertical columns. The rows are numbered on the left side of the worksheet as 1, 2, 3 and so on. The columns are named on the top of the application window as A, B, C and so on. Then is cells. The rows and the columns in a spreadsheet intersect to form the smallest unit of a worksheet, that is a cell. Each cell has a unique address, which is the combination of row number and column name. For example, the cell D10 will be formed by the intersection of row number 10 and column name D. Then active cell. It is the cell that is currently active or selected. The active cell has a thick black outline. Data is always entered in the active cell. Then sheet tabs. The sheet tabs are present at the bottom of the worksheet. These are named as sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 and so on. The active sheet tab indicates the current worksheet. By default, there are 3 worksheets in a workbook, but we can add more worksheets as per our requirement. Now let us talk about the status bar. The status bar is located at the bottom of the CALC application window and it displays the information about the current worksheet. Then we have is the scroll bar. There are 2 scroll bars on the writer window, horizontal scroll bar and vertical scroll bar. The horizontal scroll bar helps to navigate left and right of the worksheet and the vertical scroll bar helps to navigate up and down the worksheet. We can click the arrows on the either side of the scroll bars to navigate through the worksheet. The next we have is a docking toolbar. On the extreme right of the CALC window, there are 5 icons: properties, styles and formatting, gallery, navigator and functions. By clicking on any of these icons, the corresponding docking toolbar opens containing various buttons to format text, apply styles, insert pictures, navigate through the document and uses various built-in functions provided by the CALC respectively. Now let us learn about how do we create a new workbook. So when you start CALC, the application opens with a new workbook. However, if you want to open a new workbook when the CALC application is already running, then you can simply select File and then New and then Spreadsheet. The new workbook will be created and its name will appear on the title bar of the CALC window. There's a shortcut for opening a new workbook in CALC. You can simply press Ctrl and N keys together to open a new workbook in the CALC. Now about saving a workbook. So for saving a workbook, we have to click on File, then go to Save As. The Save As dialog box will appear. Browse the folder where the file has to be saved. Type the name with which the file has to be saved in the file name text box. Click Save button. By default, the file created in OpenOffice CALC is saved with an extension .ods. After saving, the name of the file appears on the title bar of the CALC window. Now, we can also save the document by clicking on the Save button on the standard toolbar. So, you should also note that the Save As dialog box appears only when you are saving the file for the first time. However, if the same file has to be saved with a different name or at a different location, then you can select Save As option from the File menu. And also there are shortcuts for the same. So, press Ctrl and Shift and S key together to save the document for the first time, and to otherwise save it, you can simply press Ctrl and S keys together. Now, how do we open an existing workbook? The existing file can be opened by browsing to the folder which contains the file and then double clicking on it. However, if the application is running, then you have to follow some steps to open the existing workbook. The steps are as follows. Click on File and then click on Open. The Open dialog box appears. Browse the folder where the file to be opened exists. Select the file and click Open button. then closing a workbook. So we can close a workbook without closing the CALC window by selecting File and then Close. However, to exit CALC, click Close button which is a cross on the top right corner of the title bar, or click File and then Exit option. In either of the ways, if our document to be closed is not saved, the writer prompts us to save the document before closing. That was about closing the workbook. Now we will understand how do we enter data in a workbook. So the data is entered in the cells of a worksheet. The data that we enter may be in the form of text, numbers or formulas. Entries containing an alphabet or a character, even if they start with a number, are called text entries. Any text entry containing alphabets or non-numeric special character such as ampersand, asterisk or the percentage, etc. is called a label. Now, for example, grade or S@G, maximum marks, all these are labels. Even the numeric data in combination of alphabets and special characters like the flat number 100 where the number is represented by hash or anything, this can be a label, this forms a label. These entries cannot be used in any type of calculations. The data on which arithmetic calculation can be performed is known as numerical data or value. In addition to the numbers, characters like addition, the plus sign, minus sign, dot or the percentage or any currency or the brackets, they can also be entered along with the numerical data. Now let us have a look at the numerical data. Let us try to understand the purpose of the individual characters. So the first is the addition sign, which represents a positive number. The second is a negative number, the minus sign, which represents a negative number. Then a period, which is basically a dot, represents a decimal number. Then the brackets, this represents the data is enclosed in brackets. Then the percentage sign obviously is used for percentage. The dollar or any currency denotes the number as a currency, and the exponential letters capital E and small e denotes the exponential for scientific notations of numbers. That was about the numerical data. Now to enter labels or values, just click the cell in which the data has to be entered. The cell becomes the active cell in which the data can be typed. So if you see the figure, the cell A2 contains the label marks and the cell A3 contains the value 67.89. So as you can see, the cell A2 and cell A3 in the current screenshot have data. The cell A2 have the label marks and the cell A3 contains the value, which is the numerical value. So I hope by this example you can distinguish between the label and the numeric value. Now, so formulas are an essential part of any spreadsheet application and they generally define the relationship between two or more cells. So let us now try to understand how do we enter the formulas. So formula is basically a combination of values, operators and the cell addresses, etc. So while entering a formula, we can either refer to individual cell or range of cells. They help in performing calculations and also in what if analysis. So the formula always start with an equal to sign. So if you are willing to write a particular formula in any of the cells, then you have to begin the content with an equal to sign in that particular cell. So when we type the formula or click on the cell containing the formula, we will see that the formula also appears in the formula bar. Now after entering the formula, if we try to edit it by clicking on the formula bar, the accept editing and cancel editing buttons on the left side of the formula bar becomes active, as you can also see in the figure. Now also notice that the color of the cell reference and the color of the border of the cell is same. Now let us talk about selecting a cell or the range of cells. So in OpenOffice CALC, we may require to select a single cell or a range of cells. These cells or range of cells can be selected using either a keyboard or a mouse. The selected cells are shaded in blue color. To select a single cell, you can simply click on that cell. The currently selected cell is known as the active cell. Now to select the entire row or column, click on the row number or the column name. So that is going to select a particular row or the column for you. So if you want to select the entire second row, you can simply click on the alphabet B which is written. That is going to select the entire row for you. If you want to select a particular column, you can simply click on the number, the digit on the left side of that column, and that is going to select the entire column for you. That is how you select an entire row or a column. So if you want to select the adjacent cells, a range of cells, to select adjacent range of cells, you have to place the mouse pointer in the first cell in the range, and thereafter click and drag the mouse pointer in the direction of selection till the last cell in the range is selected. I hope I am able to convey this to you, that how do you select a range of cells. Suppose you have to select 10 cells, then you are going to point out your mouse to the first cell and then drag the mouse till the 10th cell, you have to drag the mouse until your entire selection is selected, entire range is selected basically. So that is how you select adjacent cells. For example, if cell range A3 to B8 has to be selected, then place the mouse pointer on the cell A3, click and drag the mouse till the cell B8. Now you can also do this using a keyboard. So firstly select the first cell, thereafter holding the shift key and using the arrow key in the direction of selection, move to the diagonally opposite corner of the cell B8. Once the last cell is in the range is selected, then you can release the shift key. So that is how we select the cells or the range of cells. Now we are going to talk about navigating through the worksheet, but let us take a short break before that.
करने राहों को आलोकित करने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से और जागे, मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। आशा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम अपना जीत स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने
Welcome back, dear learners. So before going for the break, we were discussing about how do we select a cell, how do we select a particular row or a particular column, or how do we select a range of cells. Now we are going to talk about navigating through the worksheet. So as I told you that in a workbook, in a particular file, there are 2 or 3 or more worksheets. So and the collection of worksheets is basically the workbook. So we can even navigate through the worksheets in a particular workbook. So we can scroll through the worksheet by different ways. One is one can use the mouse, scroll bar or arrow keys to move between the cells and to different areas of the worksheet. To move between cells on a worksheet, you can click any cell or use the arrow key. So when you move to a cell, it becomes the active cell. Now scroll and zoom by using the mouse. So some mouse devices and other pointing devices such as Microsoft IntelliMouse pointing device have built-in scrolling and zooming capabilities that you can use to move around and zoom in or out on your worksheet or the chart sheet. You can also use the mouse to scroll in dialog boxes that have drop-down list with scroll bars. Now, if we talk about data entry, you can enter various kinds of data in a cell. First is numbers. Your numbers can be in the form of the entire range of numeric values, whole numbers, example 25, decimal numbers, example 25.67, and the other scientific notations, example 0.256, capital E plus 2, that's a scientific number. So your numbers can be from the entire range of the numeric values. The next is the data in series. You can fill a range of cells either with the same value or with a series of values with the help of autofill. First is text. First select the cell in which the data has to be entered and type the text. Then press enter key to finish your text entry. The text will be displayed in the active cell as well as in the formula bar. If you have numbers to be treated as text, use an apostrophe as the first character. You cannot do calculations with these kind of data entry. So that is about text. The next is date and time. So when you enter dates and times, Excel converts these entries into serial numbers and keep them as the background information. That was about entering data. Now editing the data. So editing your Excel worksheet data is very easy. You can edit your data by any of the following ways. First is select the cell containing the data to be edited, press F2, use the backspace key and erase the wrong entry, retype the correct entry. Then the second is select the cell and simply retype the correct entry. Third is, if you want only to clear the content of the cell, select the cell and press the delete key. To bring back the previous entry, either click on undo button on the standard toolbar or select edit and then undo command or use the keyboard shortcuts Ctrl plus Z. Ctrl plus Z is used to undo the command, that is getting a previous entry back. Now, each worksheet contains a number of columns and rows. Each cell of the worksheet has a unique reference. For example, A8 refers to the cell containing column number A and row number 8. So, find and replace data in worksheet. Now, you may want to locate a number or a text that is already typed in the worksheet. This is done through the Home tab. So, if you look in the Home tab, you will find a Find option. You can also locate your data and replace it with the new data with the Replace option, that which is also found under the Home tab, as you can see in the screenshot. So, the Find and Replace option helps you to find some particular data or even replace that data with some new data. Now, insert blank cells on a worksheet. So, select the cell or the range of cells where you want to insert the new blank cells. Select the same number of cells as you want to insert. For example, to insert 5 blank cells, you need to select 5 cells. Now, on the Home tab in the Cells group, click the arrow next to Insert and then click Insert Cells. To insert a single row, select the row or a cell in the row above which you want to insert the new row. For example, to insert a new row above row 5, click a cell in row 5. To insert multiple rows, select the rows above which you want to insert rows. Select the same number of rows as you want to insert. For example, to insert 3 new rows, you need to select 3 rows. To insert non-adjacent rows, hold down the control while you select the non-adjacent rows. To insert a single column, select the column or a cell in the column immediately to the right of where you want to insert a new column. For example, to insert a new column to the left of column B, click a cell in the column B. To insert multiple columns, select the columns immediately to the right of where you want to insert columns. Select the same number of columns as you want to insert. For example, to insert 3 new columns, you need to select 3 columns. Now, to insert non-adjacent columns, hold down the control while you select the non-adjacent columns. Now, delete the cells, rows or column. How do we delete a cell or a row or a column? Select the cell or the row or the column that you want to delete. On the Home tab in the Cells group, you can do any one of the following. To delete the selected cell, click the arrow next to delete and then click on Delete Cells. To delete the selected row, click the arrow next to delete and then click on Delete Sheet Rows. To delete the selected column, click the arrow next to delete and then click on Delete the Sheet Columns. If you are deleting a cell or a range of cells in the Delete dialog box, click Shift Cells Left, Shift Cells Up, entire row or the entire column. So that was about deleting a cell or a row or a column. Now, how do we move or copy the entire cells? So for moving or copying the cells, select the cell that you want to move or copy. On the home tab in the clipboard group, you can do any one of the following. To move cells, click cut, control, and the shortcut for cut is control and the X key together. Then to copy cell, you can click copy and the shortcut for that is control plus C. Now select the upper left cell of the paste area. On the home tab in the clipboard group, click paste. So the shortcut for the pasting is control and V together. Now move or copy the entire cells by using the mouse. So select the cells or the range of cells that you want to move or copy, and then you can do any one of the following. To move a cell or range of cell, point to the border of the selection. When the pointer becomes a move pointer, drag the cell or the range of cell to another location. To copy a cell or range of cell, hold down Control while you point to the border of the selection. When the pointer becomes a copy pointer, drag the cell or the range of cell to another location. Now, how do we prevent the copied blank cells from replacing the data? So, select the range of cells that contain blank cells. On the Home tab in the clipboard group, click Copy. Select the upper left cell of the paste area. On the Home tab in the clipboard group, click the arrow below Paste and then click Paste Special. Then select the Skip Blanks checkbox. That is going to prevent your copied blank cells from replacing the data. Now move or copy the contents of a cell. Double click the cell that contains the data that you want to move or copy. In the cell, select the characters that you want to move or copy. On the Home tab in the clipboard group, do one of the following. To move the selection, click Cut. To copy the selection, click Copy. Now in the cell, click where you want to paste the characters or double click another cell to move or copy the data. Now on the Home tab in the clipboard group, click Paste and then press Enter. So that is going to copy the content of the cell. Now let us talk about opening a file, saving a file and closing a file. So you can open an existing file by several methods. Go to Windows Explorer, find out the file you want to open, double click on the file. Or start MS Excel, click on Office button on the drop down menu, click Open. Select the file you want to open from the pop-up menu. When you have finished your work on the file, you can save it by either clicking on the File Save icon at the top left corner or click on Office button, click on Save at the drop down menu. So when you are saving the worksheet for the first time, you have to follow some steps. First is click Office button, select File Save As on the drop down menu. On the pop-up menu, select the location where you want to save the file and then type the file name. Click on Save in the pop-up menu. When your work is finished and it has been saved properly, select Print from Office button. Then select or you can click on the Close command to close your file and Exit Excel command to exit from the Excel. Now let us discuss about one of the very essential feature of spreadsheet, which is making the charts. So a chart is basically a form of pictorial representation of data. When you want to represent your data pictorially, you use charts and graphs to make it more interesting and more understandable. So it is easier to explain the concept or to analyze the data using the charts. The relationship between various sets of data can also be understood using chart. OpenOffice CALC provides various types of chart. So let us discuss about them one by one. First is bar chart. So the feature of the bar chart is it displays the data in the form of long bars of different height, vertically or horizontally. The application, it demonstrates comparison among individual items. So you can have a look of the example of a bar chart on the screen. This is a bar chart. The next is a column chart. So again, the feature of column chart is that the data is represented in the form of vertical bars, and the application of column chart is that it is used to emphasize comparison of data items within a specific period. In front of you on the screen, you can see an example of the column chart. Then next we have is a line chart. So the feature of the line chart is that the series of data points are connected together with a line. The application of the line chart is that it is used to display data trends at regular intervals. As you can see, each corresponding lines, they are having some different values for different intervals. So it is used to display a certain trend at regular intervals. So the example in front of you shows the wildlife populations. So we have three different options for this. For that we have the blue one represents the bears, the orange one represents the dolphins, and the grey one represents the whales. So on the y-axis we have the numbers, on the x-axis we have the year. So it is demonstrating the population at a regular interval of an year. The next is the area chart. So the feature of the area chart is it is based on a line chart, but the area between the axis and the line is filled with different colors. So as you can see that the first line and the x-axis is covered with the yellow, and the second line and the first line, then the area is covered with green. So this is about the gas prices. This is an example of an area chart. The next is a pie chart. So the feature of the pie chart is that the data is displayed in the form of circles divided into sectors whose size is proportional to the value it represents. So basically the pie chart is you can imagine this as a circle, and the whole circle is divided into several sectors. The proportion of that sector, the area of that sector is proportional to the value which that particular sector is representing. That is a pie chart. The application of pie chart is that it is used to demonstrate the proportional size of the item with respect to the sum of all the items. So that was the application of a pie chart. As you can also see on the screen, this is an example of a pie chart. So that was all about the different type of charts we have in spreadsheets. So I hope you will be using these charts in your day-to-day lives to represent your data more smartly, we can say, so that it is beneficial for you to compare or to get to the results from that. Thank you so much for attending the program.
प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।